Welcome to So You're Kinda a Big Deal, a weekly podcast deep diving into the lives of emerging and established tattoo artists. Listen in as we dig into origin stories, industry hot topics, and what it takes to survive in the world of tattooing. This is Tattoo Shop Talk. It's funny, it's crass, inspiring, and sometimes we get it right. Join your hosts Shawn, Hedley, and Dave Allen every week as we host a new guest.
Hey guys, I'm Dave Allen. I brought you the Hold Fast Stay Gold docu-series. I've been a tattoo artist and shop owner for over 20 years. This industry has changed a lot. I think I have a new service that's going to benefit us all. It's called the Hold Fast Social Club. So the Hold Fast Social Club for a studio owner is a matchmaking service. You've got an empty chair in your studio and you want to fill it because you're losing revenue every month. And your only way to attract people now is through Instagram. And Instagram hasn't worked for most of us in quite a few years. And it's really hard to vet people unless you know who they've worked for. Hold Fast Social Club is a service that will vet and match people to your needs. So if you're like me and you have an empty chair in your studio, or maybe you just want to host more guest artists, sign up at Hold Fast Social Club. Fill in a profile. It's free. Let us help you find better people, better fit, and make better choices.
Everyone knows Dave and I have a good guy connection, but we also have that with most respected supply companies. Working alongside Lucas at Classic Tattoo, I saw firsthand the blood, sweat, and pressure he was under to provide top quality products. He knew I'd shit all over his ideas if they sucked. He also knew that many online would follow suit. Being passionate and having a deep connection to producing products your peers will use and love is no small task. With Lucas, Rob, and Natalie at the helm, you know exactly what you're getting. High quality products, fairly priced with excellent customer service. Shop, support, Good Guy Supply.
The Hold Fast Social Club presents So You're Kinda a Big Deal with your hosts, Shawn Hedley and Dave Allen. Oh, Dean. How are you, buddy?
I'm all right. Yeah, I'm pretty good. Yeah.
You've been through quite the fucking adventure this week.
Yeah, it has been an adventure. It's been a roller coaster of emotions. And
For anyone who doesn't realize, we've had a fire here in the Kelowna. It's pretty fucking huge, and Dean's had to be evacuated. So where are you?
I'm downtown, just on the end of St. Paul Street, my friend's apartment. So she was kind enough to let me hang here.
Nice.
Yeah, we just found out that the house survived too, so that's really good news.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently all the houses in Rose Valley are okay, which is good.
Yeah, that's exactly where we are. So that's they said they protected all of them somehow. I don't know, like the back of one of the mountains in Rose Valley comes right to our backyard. So
from our vantage point, what we could see was the fire was coming in on not on your side. So if your side's like the east side of Rose Lake, it's on the west side of Rose Lake. So one crest over from you, we could see it burning down into there.
Yeah,
from our place. But I don't think it made it across the lake.
That's good.
Yeah.
All we could see was the map, I guess, the digital version of what they were putting online, and it just looked like we were right bang in the middle of it at that point, and we were like, geez, house is gone.
Yeah. Not good.
Yeah, that's crazy. Do you know, I guess you have no idea how long you're going to be on evac for?
No, so I guess that everyone's going to be without power and water over there for a while, huh? So
yeah, but by the sounds of it,
I dare say we might be allowed to go back and get more stuff or something, which is good because my passport's there, and I'm going to have to sort this out. Sorry. Change my angle a little bit. Yeah, my passport's there, my computer's there. In the mad rush, I forgot those two crucial components of life.
Oh, fuck.
We're going to need that passport in a few weeks.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
totally.
got 3 weeks and I really need it. So I was like, shit, if the house burnt down, I need to get to the embassy now.
Yeah,
Get the
totally.
passport. But it survived. So it's just a matter of being allowed to go get it now.
You've had quite the week. We took you fishing and you fell in the river and destroyed your phone.
Oh my god,
You got some prickly pear cactus into your shoes.
yeah.
You almost got sunstroke.
Yeah, I swear Dave took me just so someone copped the bad luck. Yeah.
Sorry. First of all, an Australian shouldn't even be able to get sunstroke. That's just
All of us were fucking suffering pretty bad.
Yeah, I think I underestimated the Canada heat, and I took it pretty cruisy. If I knew I was going to be putting up with that, like in Oz, I definitely probably would have been prepared a lot more and maybe drank less beer. But it caught me by surprise. And then I got whacked by a wasp too. That was great.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That,
Sympathy from Ben Burlock or myself at all. We're just like, what the fuck are you whinging about now? Like it's just one thing after another.
Yeah, every few minutes I felt like, geez, something was happening to me. Shut up and fish.
He wanted to even do this podcast again and see his fucking face.
We had a great time.
Oh,
yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh my goodness.
Before we get too far along, we might as well do the whole intro thing. Like, so you're kind of a big deal, which is now sponsored by Good Guy Supply.
Woo!
Woof.
No, we've had you on before, Dean, but just once again, just give us a quick rundown on who you are.
Who am I? DC, Dean Carroll, tattoos. Born Sydney, Australia. Now I live in Byron Bay, Australia, and have been coming to Canada, tattooing with the guys that Don't Look Down for 7 or 8 years now. Yeah.
Oh, crazy. What brings you to Canada all the time?
Usually the snow and friends I made along the way. Yeah.
I love the surf.
You might want to go back to just the snow there, sunstroke.
I love the surfer just wants to snowboard. That's awesome.
Yeah, very cliche. Australian comes to Canada to snowboard.
Yeah. It's flattering to know that we have something that's as good as the surf in Australia.
Yeah. I think it's pretty special what you got here. When we go snowboarding, it's very wet and I guess warm, even though we feel like it's freezing cold. That wet cold is always pretty cold, but in the scheme of things, it's actually the temperatures so mild. It's almost plus degree every day.
We also don't have nearly as many things that are trying to kill you.
Yeah. Well, we had this conversation.
Yes, we had this conversation.
He has a point. Hear him out.
Everything that wants to kill you in Canada is on the land, so you can just like accidentally stumble upon it, like the bears and the big bucks and moose, cactus, rattlesnakes, the cougars. In Oz, you don't really stumble upon anything like that. You got to get into the ocean to get killed. Really, like we got some snakes and spiders, lots of snakes, but that's the only really main one that you might stumble upon on land that's gonna kill you. Just stay out of the ocean and you'll probably be safe.
We saw bears on our trip, and we're pretty stoked. He's the closest he's seen bears. So,
that was special.
I kind of took it for granted. I was like, okay, we've seen him. Let's go. He's like, yeah, but
Well, you trying to be like a Jasper tourist and try and pet them?
No.
No, we had a nice safe vantage point. It was good. We got a nice long look at him from across the river in the safety of the van. So it was good. We were close enough to really be able to, you could see their facial expressions were close enough, but again, safe enough distance.
Yeah. Cool.
So we touched on some of your stuff in your work and stuff like that. Did you mention that you broke your back?
I didn't break it, but I had a pretty gnarly disc injury, I guess. I
Oh,
slowly just bulged 2 discs out of my lumbar into my sciatic nerve, and um, yeah, I kind of did them twice, 10 years apart. I'm going to correct my seat again so the iPad stops doing that. Yeah, but it kind of put me flat on my back for 6 months to a year. 4 months of that I actually couldn't walk. I
What?
kind of lost most function in my right leg. I couldn't lift my right leg or put any weight on it. I could,
Oh, yeah.
and my foot kind of went numb. Yeah, then the sciatic nerve pressure, it wasn't damage to the nerve or anything, but just the pressure on the nerve. If anyone has had a little bit of sciatica before, you
oh
know
yeah.
what that's
Oh,
like.
yeah.
It's kind of like burning, tingling. You've always got that real local dead numbing ache in your lower back somewhere when that's occurring. But yeah, I couldn't really walk. I couldn't carry my
Well,
own
I mean,
weight or anything
you
like that.
weren't doing probably then either, were you?
No, I had nearly a year off. Yeah,
Jesus. That's
yeah.
that's something
Um,
most tattooers wouldn't be able to handle. Like, how do you survive that? Like, what do you do?
um, financially, I was lucky that I'd started saving for a house, and it was in the midst of Australia's second COVID lockdown as well. So I had a few repayments coming in. Mostly I lived off my savings. Actually, I lived off my COVID repayments and I spent all my savings on my specialists. That's pretty much how it worked. Survived it that way financially via those two outlets. But I guess energy wise and emotionally wise and, just
Yeah.
general keeping my spirits high was probably the hardest part.
No
Um,
doubt.
trying to stay positive, which took a few months to regain some sort of positivity. I had 3, maybe 4 local specialists from osteopaths, chiropractors, and exercise physiologists. Had some blood work done and MRI scans to investigate the discs pressuring on the nerve, and it didn't look that bad. And the pain, although the pain was pretty bad, all my specialists were really positive about it not being that bad. It was just unfortunate, but that the pain signal was.
Yeah, yeah.
So I knew the physiology of it. Once I understood the physiology of it and that it wasn't that bad, uh, literally my functional health coach and chiropractor, he was like, "Mate, I'd trade spines with you in a heartbeat." He was that optimistic about it. Thank God he had taken up a lot of really body conscious health hacks towards keeping people out of spinal surgery many, many years ago, because himself also needed spinal surgery. That's a bit of irony there. Yeah, so he turned to a lot of ways that I could implement long-term health into the body, fixing itself, keeping me out of surgery, and then staying healthy and fit for the remainder of my life, and not falling straight back to the problem, which is what surgery usually brings. It's a quick
Yeah.
fix, get it done, you have your however many months of repair, and then you just go back to doing the same things, eating the same things, and working in the same posture, doing all the same things that cause the injury in the first place.
Yeah.
Um,
Did you stay creative during this time?
yes. I did a lot of landscape painting. Yeah, I'm a bit of a grandma like that. I've been landscape painting since I was 20 or something. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, just like bush landscapes and stuff like that. Yeah, so I did a lot of painting. I didn't sketch much, not much actual drawing or sketching, no.
This wasn't
Um,
during that. I know you talked about during the shutdown that you'd started doing a lot of ocean art.
yeah, yeah.
Did that coincide with the injury or?
Um, no, no. The injury really just coincided with tattooing in a really bad posture for many, many years, and not keeping myself physically strong enough, and not taking responsibility of that on myself, that of looking after my body there, being young and tattooing. It's pretty easy to get caught up in just enjoying the perks of tattooing and partying and just not giving a stuff about your body, whatever. I'm unstoppable, unbreakable. I can just do this forever. But I'm also tall. I'm 6'2", and I'm quite lean, so that's really bad for sitting down and hunching your back over, and it puts a lot of pressure on the lumbar discs, which I now understand. So that didn't help me out. But if I'd stayed more active and stronger throughout that part of my career, I probably would have prevented a lot of that.
No doubt.
I guess now you can probably imagine that that's a pretty important part of life now, is laying on the floor, doing all my mobility exercises, my Pilates, my strengthening.
How much time in a day do you spend doing that? Because I know when we were away, you talked about the need to do it, and you were doing a little bit while we were there.
Yeah, to be honest, I did bring that up, Dave, because I'm at a point now where I don't think I'm actually doing it enough. When I thought I was doing pretty good the last year, and it's been about a year now since I've been tattooing again full time. But I'm still getting a bit sore, and I'm still getting real locked up hips. I'm still getting lumbar pain. I never get any sciatica. So I'm only really spending 20 minutes on some stretching and mobility work, probably about 5 days a week. And then 3 days a week, I might do a workout. And I don't think it's enough. I think the mobility and the stretching is enough, but I don't think my strengthening workouts are enough, actually. That's why I brought it up with you the other day.
Yeah.
And
Shawn, you ever had any issues with your back from tattooing?
Oh, well, yeah. I've been exacerbated by it.
Do you do anything? Do you do anything like Dean does to?
I do. Well, yes, when I'm in pain.
Yes, of course.
I have Julia now who points out, like, you need to keep up with this shit, because I won't do anything, and then I'll be like, my hips, I feel my hips are a little tight, a little sore, whatever, and then I'll go to jujitsu, and then I barely can get out of bed the next day, right? And then again, I do some exercises, and they start feeling good, so you do them less.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And less.
Yeah, you feel good. So you're like, why should I keep going? Yeah. Sweet. Yeah.
So I really need to definitely get a mobility routine
totally
back in my life. So, but when I was lifting a lot, like when I was strength training a lot, I wasn't getting injured nearly as much.
Yeah.
When I stopped lifting and I was just doing only jiu-jitsu all the time, getting injured all the time.
Yeah.
I show up to the gym and I'm like, forget I'm old, and I'm like, I don't need to warm up.
Yeah.
I'm going to roll with this 23-year-old kid right now.
Yeah. Nope. Yeah.
So
I used to do a lot of mobility stuff, and I found the only way I could stick with it is if I gave myself like stupid goals, like I want to be able to move my hip at like this much, this range of motion, and it's the only thing that would keep me with it. Otherwise, I'd fucking fall off just like everybody else, like I am right now. I haven't done any mobility training in months. I feel it.
Like my quads and stuff, everything's so tight right now. Like I squat, like I sit a lot in a squat. Like even just at a red light, if I'm walking on my red light, I sit in a squat. I do it a lot. But I've been so bad with my mobility stuff that, like, over the last week, and if I go too deep in a sit squat, I feel like my knees are gonna explode.
Oh fuck yeah!
So tight, right?
Yeah.
I gotta keep up on this shit. I went to Jessica from Capital Tattoo had her summer pool party bash thing where she rents out a pool and just a bunch of people show up and stuff. And I showed up swimming off the diving board, belly flopping and flipping and shit. And then today I was like, I'm a little sore today.
Yeah, I don't think tattooers do enough proactively to keep themselves healthy. Like we think it's just our hands and wrists that are going to go, but
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
the experience Dean had is a real eye opener. Like I would hate to get to that point where I'm fucking laid up in bed for months, not being able to work. Like,
Well, look, we just had Phil on. He talked about it. Richard
Yep.
Harding, who works for me, he tattooed for years at my shop standing, because again, he was like he couldn't ride his motorcycle, he couldn't ride a bike, he couldn't do anything, and then he was getting to the point where he was getting really scared because he was like, I think I might have to quit tattooing because he can't. He couldn't tattoo. He was always in pain with his sciatica, and then he did Pilates. He did a lot of Pilates, like 4 days a week.
Yeah.
For almost 18 months, and then he cut it down to like less. Then he started strength training with a personal trainer. He got fit, and he kept standing while tattooing, and he was tattooing like long fucking days, and back riding his motorcycle on long trips, and he went snowboarding and shit like that. So it's doable. It just takes
totally
a lot of time and energy.
dedication.
Yeah. It's a long-term dedication. That's right.
Yeah.
You've got to adjust your whole lifestyle to fit it.
Yeah.
So where you at now with your back health? You're good. You're tattooing regular hours.
Yeah, this last month I've been getting sore and stiff, and I actually hurt my shoulder. Don't know how, tattooing, and now
That's normal. Not.
I've been talking to the
How do you
specialist here
tattoo
about
like
it,
this?
and now
What kind of-
I'm only doing 3 days a week because I've got to rest my arm. I'm not allowed to roll my shoulder forward at the moment. But the back's feeling fairly good. It's responding really good to mobility and stretching and strengthening, just squats, deadlifts, lots of core work and Pilates. Responds really well to that.
Cool.
And now the shoulders decided to go, hey, guess what?
Yeah. It's always that next thing down the line, right?
Yeah. I think the fly fishing trip might have exacerbated it a little bit.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Just a little.
You got to work on your technique. I used to have a bad shoulder, and it was fly fishing that fixed it.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, just built up the muscle.
Yeah, I think we can both say there's lots of stuff I need to work on in my fly fishing, Dave.
Yeah, shit, you were the first one to catch a good trout on that trip, so kudos for me.
Yeah, that's true.
That must have been like an alien environment to you, the type of fishing you guys do at home. So.
Yeah, it was pretty wild. The scenery was mind-blowing. You're not wrong.
Yeah. So for people who are not familiar with your work, how would you describe your tattooing?
Traditional.
It's more than that, though. Like, it's not.
It's got I guess it's just based on traditional technique, values, big lines, lots of black. I do like a good whip shade. I don't mind some soft shading too, but I like a lot of Japanese stuff, which slips straight into, the same techniques, same execution.
The subject matter isn't always traditional, though.
No, I like to mix up my subject matter. I like, I don't know, I'm a little bit of a weird spiritual hippie on the inside, but I'm also a massive bogan, which is a redneck here in Canada. So, I like snakes and skulls and shit too, but I also like, I like things that have a bit of a meaning, a bit of a story, some sort of soulful evolution to it. Yeah, without getting too whimsical. As long as it's just got a little bit of an element of that, yeah. But I also like it to appeal to a simpler time or a simpler crowd. That makes sense.
That's got it. Simple-minded. Is that what you're saying?
Well, you could be full spiritual crazy, or you could be very simple-minded, and hopefully it'll appeal to both crowds. Yeah.
Cologne is a perfect place for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, amazing. Where does that come from? How did your style develop? Like what led you down the path to that kind of aesthetic?
Having all the time off with my injury, and then when I started tattooing again, I tattooed realism for 7 or 8 years straight before I injured myself, I guess. Stopped drawing as much, stopped sketching, So then when I kind of got good, well enough to tattoo again, I could only sit down for half an hour at a time. So I started doing small little trad pieces, and I started drawing little flash sheets and painting little traditional flash sheets, because I'd have to get up and walk the block every 20 minutes to lengthen my spine again.
Yeah.
And loved it. And then I remembered how much I used to love drawing Japanese stuff too. When I first started tattooing, before I tattooed realism stuff, and I went, well, this can slip straight towards this once I get good enough to sit for whole days again, or at least 3 or 4 hour sessions. I could start doing sleeves and things again, and I just started making, the little trad pieces turned into chrysanthemums, and the chrysanthemums turned into chrysanthemums with water, and then all of a sudden there was a snake, and then all of a sudden, no, you got a whole Japanese sleeve.
Nice. Tricky.
Yeah. And the other spiritual side comes through just when I meditate. I try to meditate a few times a week, just to clear some shit out. It actually helps my back. I feel like I'm storing emotional energy or stuff when I'm getting sore and congested in my hips and spine. And I go up there and I kind of just use meditation to, cleanse me out a little bit energetic wise. And usually I'll have some sort of visions of how that looks, of what's happening. And then I'll try and just put an element of that in a drawing every now and then when I see fit. So usually it'll be something like a skull breaking open and a sun growing out of it, or a flower just bursting through. It's
Cool.
lots of eyes. I paint lots of eyes. Everyone's used third eyes in their artworks for tens of thousands of years. So I try to put them in weird places. I started putting them inside the ears of skulls and stuff like that.
Oh.
Just to mix it up, just symbology that people know and recognize, and hopefully in a slightly different way that makes them look twice. Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I love looking at your stuff. It's got a real originality to it. It doesn't strike me as anybody else's stuff, but you still adhere to all those traditional elements. Strong line work, heavy shading. It's not like you're trying to reinvent something.
No, and I think it's easy to want to reinvent something. I think as creatives, it's built into us that there's a need to, I don't know, be special or something, be a big deal, right? So
Yeah, totally.
but with tattooing, I feel like you are restricted in some regards because of the canvas and the skin and the way it's applicated and stuff. So I think having the injury retaught me that how important traditional values were in the application. So I stuck to that and didn't reinvent any of that, and just tweaked the artwork around.
Yeah, that's cool.
Cool. Positive out of a really shitty negative. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I had to stay positive. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man.
So you have just 3 weeks left in Canada.
Yeah. Yep.
And then what? How long are you going home for? Are you going home for the winter?
Are you going to Tofino still?
No. The fires and the shoulder injury has cancelled that one.
Oh, shitty.
Yeah, so to answer your question, Shawn, 2 months I'm going to go home for.
Okay.
Yep, and I'll do a bunch of tattooing in Byron Bay and a little bit in Sydney. And then hopefully straight back here on the work permit, and I will be coming and going very frequently for like the next 2 years. The work permit will allow me to stay for 2 years straight, but
Cool.
I'm a bit of a gypsy, and I think I'll get itchy feet every few months. So I'd love to nip home for even just 3 or 4 weeks every 3 months or every quarter, and just do a little holiday trip, go home, tattoo a couple friends, have a surf, see my family, scratch that itch, and then come straight back and do the Canada thing and keep that pretty consistent.
Yeah. And are you just gonna be always, like, you're pretty much always in Kelowna?
Yeah, yeah. It's funny. This is my 10th trip to Canada, and I've only just started branching out of Kelowna because I just kept coming to snowboard and tattoo it, don't look down, and then I'd just go home. So it was good to go out and see some different places with Dave, and I've got some friends that live up at Squamish on the coast now, and seeing different parts of BC has been great. So now I'm slowly spreading my wings on little trips out of Kelowna, and who
Nice.
knows, maybe one day it'll be like, yeah, cool, let's go to Toronto for a weekend and
Yeah.
guest spot or do a convention or
Yeah,
see something
totally.
else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
What's the tattoo scene like in Australia? We hear stories, but it's always the stuff we hear is kind of typical, like outsiders, like how heavy it is with the bikies and stuff like that. And is it still that way, or is it different? And is that just one part of Australia that's like that, or?
It's kind of just a few major cities that are like that. Yeah, I would say Sydney and the Gold Coast, Brisbane sort of area would be the worst. But 5 or 6 years ago, yeah, and it used to be really bad. It was as bad as it sounds. Yeah, they would, you know, bomb your studio if you didn't, if you're in their territory and didn't play ball for whatever reason. Um, and yeah, 5 6 years ago, the government cracked down and they initiated licensing, state licensing for New South Wales and Queensland, which you had to pass a criminal check and a background check to acquire. Each tattoo artist had to get one of them, and each studio had to get another governing operating license as well.
Yeah,
And
that's how my
so,
friend lost his shop.
yeah, they they essentially wanted to push bikies out of the scene by doing that. Um, and it seems to have gotten better, but you know, most biker owned studios aren't doing anything wrong. They've been doing great tattoos for a long time and
Yeah,
having apprentices and teaching people, and it's just the however many that have their ways that are a bit different to everyone else, and
the
they're
minority.
pretty rough sort of people. And yeah, like I apprenticed in a local shop run by bikers as well, and that was great. Yeah,
Yeah.
I ended up getting the sack because I was a shit apprentice, but yeah, but they were great people. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Did
Yeah.
that have a?
Those weird laws when they came in, they didn't just they affected lots of people. Like,
Yeah.
our old friend Tim, my old roommate, body
Mhm.
piercer, he's a little skinny piercer dude, but he unfortunately was charged in Australia. And
Yeah,
then when all the licensing came out, he lost his big shop that he had in what is it,
yeah.
Bondi Junction or whatever.
Bondi Junction. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So he lost his shop and lost everything. Fucking, but now he works for Disney.
Wow. Oh wow.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
that's pretty funny if you ever met him or knew any of the stories.
yeah.
Uh,
We'll have him on one day, maybe.
yeah, totally.
Cool. So I just lost train of thought. Go ahead, Dave. I know you got
I,
something.
I was going to ask you of all the tattoos you have on you, who have you been tattooed by, and what's your favorite?
All my tattoos. Who have been tattooed by? And what's my favorite?
That's a
Woo.
new question we're going to ask everybody.
Okay, I'm going to start at my legs and work my way up. I've got a couple of good local trad guys in Lennox Head. I got a great Tom Burry piece, another Liam Jenkins piece on my leg. My whole right leg is by Matt Blue Selwyn in Darwin. I've got a Dane Williams portrait on the back of my leg. Going up, my stomach and chest would be Miriam Dabbs, also in Darwin. Matt Selwyn, again in Darwin. My right sleeve is Josh Rolink,
Yeah,
previously a
that's
tattoo Dharma in Sydney. Now he's in Lennox Head, New
such
South
a rad
Wales.
tattoo.
Yeah, I had the privilege of working with a few of those guys for many years. They were awesome. You know what it's like. You end up getting tattooed by everyone you work with, which is great.
Yeah.
That's about it. there might be a couple more off the top of my head. Yeah, usually everyone I work with tattoos me. Yeah.
What's next? You got any big projects planned? Yeah, your back's empty, is it not?
My back is empty. I've been lasering my left sleeve for a few years, so I'm trying to figure out who I would like to do a semi blast over, semi cover up of the whole arm. I've also got a good piece on the back of my left leg by Yucky Soba, Blake Santos. He's also in Sydney. I'm considering him to do the sleeve. Might get Clay to do the sleeve too. I don't know yet.
Yaki Soba is such a great name.
Yeah. Yucky Soba. Yeah, look him up. He's phenomenal. Yeah.
Every white tattooer that does Japanese stuff should take the title Yaki instead of Hori. Yeah. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah. And he's definitely a white guy doing Japanese, so it's perfect. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, crazy. Does Australia have different? It's a big country. Like you were talking about, just how far everything is apart. Are there different scenes that you can tell? Like as a local in Australia, you can tell where an artist is from. They're from Darwin, or they're from Sydney, or they're from Perth, or like based on their work, not on their appearance.
Yeah, you can. The Gold Coast has a lot of real good black and grey realism tattooers, and that real LA street Chicano style, you know, gangster cars and the sick lettering and girls with the balaclava mask and stuff. They got a lot of that sort of stuff. Melbourne's got a lot of great Japanese and traditional and realism. Sydney's, I think Sydney's got the same as well. Yeah, mostly Japanese, traditional, and I'm sure they got heaps of realism too. Yeah, Dylan Weber's I think still in Sydney. Yeah, his whole shop's got great realism. But no, I wouldn't be able to tell, except for maybe the Gold Coast, where you're kind of from a scene based on the type of work. The Gold Coast would be the only giveaway, I think. Yeah. Unless you're from Western Sydney and you got a big, dirty Western tribal sleeve. Bloody beauty. I'm from Western Sydney, so I tattooed 100 of them in my apprenticeship.
Tribal's making a comeback, man.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, big comeback.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Bio.
Yeah,
90s
totally.
bio. Yeah. That was the cover up for the tribal sleeves.
Totally.
Yeah. You guys probably know Brad Bacco in Newcastle, Australia. Brad Bacco, he's one of the kings of our organic bio back home. Yeah.
Oh, did he do Lucky Diamond Rich's last bio sleeve, right?
Suit?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah. I saw Lucky's. But yeah, I remember seeing his sleeve, but it was just in progress, and I was like,
yeah,
what?
Yeah.
Just layering white and colors right over top of that black bodysuit, and it was looking cool, man. So
yeah,
right on. Cool.
You got any tips for tattooing tan skin? You guys must deal with it.
Oh yeah, you pretty much only use black and a medium wash. That's it.
There's so much color coming out of Australia, though.
No color. Not for. Well, it depends how tanned you're talking. How tanned are we talking? I got a lot of friends that are roof tilers, and they're leatherbacks. They've got like, it's not just the color, the tan that's the problem. It's how dry and dead the skin is.
Totally.
And tough.
I tattoo some asphalt guys, road workers and stuff, and they come in at the end of the season. They're tattooing a belt. Like, they're so dehydrated and just like dried out beef.
Yeah. I do have a tip though. You got to turn your machine up. I can tell you now.
And then you constantly for some subtlety or some secret that I haven't figured out yet.
Well, you got to keep checking the needle and got to wipe the dead skin out of it every 4 lines. Yeah.
Yeah. Slowly watching your liner just opening up because of the clock. So like dry skin. Like, wow, this
Yum.
started out at 7. Now
The
it's
skin's just doing this.
I love watching slow-mo video, or even not slow-mo videos of the skin just boom, 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 boom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, crazy.
Oh, great. So, well, no, have you been to Tofino before?
Yeah,
I
I
was.
have. I did surf Tofino 5 years ago, I think, on a quick summer trip here.
How was that?
It was good. The water was still bloody cold.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the water was still under 10 degrees. I think it was like 8 or 9 degrees still. It was freezing. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I surfed it all day. I had a few mates with me, and we had too many surfboards. It was great. And I'd surf for at least 2 or 3 hours, come in, have a quick snack, chug a beer. They'd be like, all right, we're going to have a break. We're going to make some lunch. I'm like, fuck that. Give me your board. I want to try your board now. Just straight back out there and surf for another 3 hours.
Nice.
I think I did that all day. And then the next day I was like, oh, okay, maybe just a quick surf today. Pretty tired. got too excited.
Amazing.
Yeah. No, it's probably good to head out. It's a bit of a nightmare to get out there right now. Like the highway's literally closed at 7 a.m. or 9 a.m. to like the p.m. and they only open from 11:30 to 12:30 in one direction, and then they close.
Whoa.
And then they open it in the other direction for 1 hour each way. That's it. Like,
Yeah,
That's it.
I think they're opening it up though next weekend. I think it's the last week. I think it might be the last week of construction.
that's why because we were just on the island. That's why we decided not to go. Because we're like, oh fuck, man, we kept setting our alarms so early so we could beat the construction.
Well, there's
then,
a detour.
Then we're just like, no,
There's a detour down some logging roads, but I think it's something like 40K of fucking BC logging roads. It's
man.
yeah, it's
we did the one logging road from Barrier into Salmon Arm, and I'm like,
fuck that.
Yeah, they're pretty corrugated.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You wouldn't. I don't think you'd be able to take that road right now, Shawn. I think the big fire is going through there too.
oh, probably. Well,
Yeah.
when we were driving it, I was like, oh, look, there's a fire. And I point out, and there's like, and then when we were in Kelowna that night, or in Salmon Arm that night eating, we started seeing helicopters with like the water buggy things. Like, heading out in that direction. So,
Rob Job, I think Rob and Nat got evac'd. It was because we're there, and Blind Bay is not too far from Salmon Arm, so it's affecting a lot of people. That fire is crazy too. It's totally out of control. Yeah.
Australia's in for a bad bushfire season too this summer.
Is there anything left to burn there? Like,
yeah, our bush regenerates really quickly from fires. I guess our Indigenous have been burning it off for tens of thousands of years, and it regenerates so quickly. It loves it. And yeah, I've been talking to everyone about how the winter's going back there, and it hasn't been very cold. It's really dry. They're calling, because it's winter there now, but yeah, they're calling it now. They're going to be like, yeah, it's going to be a bad bushfire season this year. So, which is it happens every 4 years, and then in between every 4 years, it's flooding. So it's it'll flood real bad for a couple of years, and then burn, and then flood again, and then burn. Seems to be the thing at the moment.
Yeah, I think that's what we're in for. In the interior is landslides and stuff like that, because the trees hold all the water from we get any kind of big rainstorm. It'll just, there's no soil and the trees are dead. They're not soaking up water. It'll just wash everything off.
It just washes out.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, talking about weather and fires on a tattoo podcast. The fuck?
Yeah.
Just a podcast.
It's just a podcast.
Anyway, back to skulls and snakes and shit.
Yeah. Are you loyal to the coil, or do you use space dildos?
I'm a dildo fan, yeah.
Yeah, same.
I'm
I
an
would be a
efficiency
good guy with
fan.
sending mine.
Yeah,
That's part of the agreement.
yeah.
Semi-sponsored by Good Guy Supply.
Yeah.
Almost sponsored.
Yeah.
It took me a while to stop outlining with a coil, though. Took me a while.
Yeah.
I was pretty loyal to outlining with him right up until just before I hurt myself. So probably only a couple of years ago.
So,
Yeah.
what machine was it that turned you around? Because I think that's everybody's problem with rotaries for the most part.
It was FK Irons Flux.
I haven't used that one. I haven't touched
Um,
I haven't touched any FK Iron product.
And what got me over the line was the amount of give settings it had, which was a lot. I think it's got 14 give settings or something. You can start fully rigid and then slowly just beep, 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 beep it up. And it just gets softer and softer and softer.
Are you using give with your liner or no?
I use give on my small liners, yeah. So if I'm using a 7 group or smaller, I'll put some give on it. But if I'm using a 9 round shader, 11 round shader, 14, I'm full rigid. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes on my 9 liner I will use give though, but it depends on which cartridge and the membrane.
If it's a Cheyenne, I bet you're using give because those things are so fucking tight. That thing's like a 5 liner.
Yeah. Yeah, Cheyenne groupings are tight. And we were talking about this on the fishing trip.
Yeah, they're like robotic tight.
They all have a 0.3 gauge, 0.3 size needle, which is a bug pin thickness without the length. Yeah, so I find them all too tight, and I don't like them. I like them when I'm using small groupings. Yeah, if I'm using a 7 or a 5 for some script or some detailed lines, perfect. But my 9s it up. I like a thicker, punchier needle, 0.35 of thickness and more. And if it's textured, even better. Shorter taper, especially for a big line the size of a 14 liner, you know.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
We were talking about that, yeah, and Cheyenne don't make any of them, and not many people do in the cartridges.
It's hard to get textured needles.
Yeah.
Like the only textured needles I've been able to find have been bug pins, and I don't want textured bug pins. I want like a medium taper 3.5 that's got texture to it, just for color. Like shit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
As the machines have gotten softer with the pens and the give and the cartridge membranes, I'm leaning way more towards stiffer, punchier needles because the machine's giving me enough give I need for what I do.
Yeah.
Very occasionally I go back and do a small realism piece every now and then, and I'll be like, okay, I'll use a 15 mag that's a bug pin or a 23 that's a bug pin.
Yeah.
But 90% of the time I'll pick the stiffest needle I can find. Yeah.
Yeah, that's my biggest thing with like the transition into the pen is fucking choosing what needles I want to use or like. Because I'll try some stuff and then I'll be like, oh, this is pretty good, and then I'll do a couple more tattoos and I'll be like, I don't like these needles, and then I'll try something different. And it's like, 9 rounds should just be a 9 round.
I agree, man.
No matter what company you get it from.
Totally.
But
yeah,
I know.
It's fine if they're making them out of bug pins, but it should then say bug pin 9. It's not a regular. It's not 9 RL if it's made with bug pins. I'm sorry.
Yeah, well, don't buy Cheyenne needles then, because that's the problem. Is that I think that I used a 9 liner on somebody one day, and the first line I was like, "That's a fucking 3. It's got to be a 3 or 5." And I'm looking at it, I'm like, "No, there's 9 needles there."
Yeah,
and they're all long taper too, so that makes the hole that the needle physically punches even smaller.
Yeah.
Because the whole needle head's not getting into the skin. It's just
totally.
a tapered end. Yeah.
Yeah, I know a lot of the kids are liking the Good Guy Supreme cartridges and then Quadrant.
I used the Quadrant ones. It was like every
they're my go-to as well.
at first I liked them, and I don't know what happened, but their success
Yeah.
rate on
Yeah.
quality is pretty low.
A couple of the guys at the shop, they all love the Supremes for lining, but then they're using quadrants
Yeah.
for mags.
Gotcha.
That's the exact duo I use, Shawn.
Yeah.
Quadrant mags and Good Guy Supreme liners. I used to religiously just use quadrants across the board. I found the needle quality and the precision in the line some of the best out of any, but the discrepancy in the membrane and the length of the head that's attached to the needle was super inconsistent, especially throughout the liners. So I fucked them off as liners, and the Good Guys I find really consistent, really punchy, great membrane. And yeah, but the quadrant mags I still love. I still swear by us. The size, the ink flow, everything. The actual needle quality. I love the quadrant mags. Yeah.
So so I got to get some needles this week. What are your favorite Supremes what's your everyday pretty much average liner that you grab? Like, are you using their nines, or are you using their baggies, their loose, or
Semi tight 9.
okay.
Yep,
Semi
I'd
tight
agree with
7. Um,
Their hollows are nice too.
Bug pin 5. Yeah, hollow 8. I don't mind. Sometimes I have some problems with the hollow 8, but I think that's a human error, not a needle problem.
Are you using bug pin
And the-
5s as like a 3 substitute?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah. Way more
Just have-
stability?
Yeah, totally.
yeah. They run better at speed. I feel like I want to do a huge line this long through a peony pedal or something. I can physically run it faster, and yeah, like Shawn said, it stays stable better, and it's the same size line. And then my bigger ones, I usually go either a 9 or 11 round shader or a 14 round liner. Just depends on the skin type. They all give me the kind of the similar thickness in line.
Yeah.
If it's tougher skin, I'll go for the round shader over the 14 round liner.
Oh, really? I would have thought it was the other way.
Yeah, I sometimes lean the other way, but it's funny that the tougher skin doesn't hold maybe the line as clean for a round shader, but the ease of the flow getting it in is much better. And then I find once it heals up, it's a little bit same anyway. Just because there's less needles in the grouping for the round shader, the ink flows better and there's less resistance, and I just find it just goes in better on tougher skin.
That's fascinating. I'm gonna have to order some more needles. I use almost all the same groupings, except I don't use the tight 5s or the shaders anymore. I found the shaders, because I'm lazy, when I line, the corners can get a little funny. Yeah.
Yeah. They can get very, very easily. That's true.
Yeah. But those hollows are great. I wish they made a fatter liner. I mean, you're doing a big piece. It'd be nice to have like a 18 round to fucking just pummel in fat lines. But
yeah. I don't know anyone that makes one that big. I know Cheyenne do a hollow or an open 15, they call it. But again, it's long tapered, thin needles.
Yeah. It's really just a 9.
Yeah.
There you go, Lucas and Rob. 18 rounds. Get on it.
18 rounds.
Yeah. just so I can use them.
Just tell them a single. Like a big two.
Yeah, totally. That'd be awesome. Yeah, totally.
Okay, he's back. I'll just get two 18s. Yeah. I might do something big this month.
Yeah.
Has anyone thought of like you use a felt tip pen that's got a chiseled cut on it, and so when you're drawing it, you can do a nice tapered flick?
Yeah.
Has anyone thought of making a tattoo needle like that shape? It'd be more like a bit of a mag or something. It's called a mag. Yeah. But you might have to do a couple more stacks or something. I don't know.
There was actually a company, I forget the name of the company, they gave me a bunch of samples back in the day. They made triangles.
Yeah,
They
I
made
remember
some
those.
pretty wacky shapes. And they had to have their tubes made specifically to fit them all. But they would do multi-stack, same thing, and then kind of on an angle. So it would be so like you could like I think they were thinking of like, hair trimmers, how they have like the built-in fade. Same idea.
Yeah.
And it's like, it won't work.
Yeah.
No.
The triangle ones, my good buddy Bob Blakeborough, did that for years. I'm like, dude, I need to try this on you. He was just like,
And
okay. Dude, there was so much blood.
it was huge though. It was like 30 needles in it or something. The ones I got.
Wow.
It was like, it was fucking big, and it was a giant triangle, man. Like, and I was doing a big hot stuff on his thigh, and just at tattoo convention.
I think that's the same company. I think they made like the 100 round, didn't they?
That's a
Yeah, I
different
did see that.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, that's that ink claw mob. Are they legit, or are they some Chinese rip-off mob, or what are they?
I don't know. When I ordered some, because I ordered those 3 prongs, I wanted to try them out, and they came from Ontario.
Oh
So,
wow. Okay.
Yeah. So they probably just bring everything from overseas. Whoever they are must just be in Ontario and then redistribute or whatever. So yeah. When I was working with Mike Pryor, I ordered some of those because I was like, I'm gonna try some stippling with these things. They're all right, man. I did some stuff on my leg, and they're all right. But you like, whatever. Yeah.
I love tattooers that trial new machines, new products on themselves. I did that rigging up a coil. I think it was a Lucas Ford coil to show the apprentices at the shop how to set a coil up. And yeah, just put my ankle on my knee and just got it out and just started outlining on my ankle. And they're like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Well, this is how you know if like it sounds like it's running sweet. Everything on paper says it's running sweet, so let's find out, And they just thought it was crazy. And I was like, "This is normal. You don't have to do this, but down the track, you should do this." Yes.
I used to always, whenever I retuned a machine or whatever, I always ran it on my palm.
I remember that.
Yeah.
But with a needle, you'd run it on the palm, so you'd feel if it was catching or if it was bogging out too much, and you could adjust and stuff. But amazing. We're like, well, how is it supposed to practice on? It's bad enough that we kind of practice on clients already, but R&D can happen on us. Yeah. Oh, shit.
Too funny.
Yeah. So, I don't know. Have we made it to that time where we ask that big giant question that fumbles everybody?
Yes. Top 5 tattooers.
Oh, I'm prepared.
Top 5?
I'm prepared.
Nice.
Because you asked me this in the sneak peek one at the convention, so I've altered it a little bit.
That's okay.
Yeah, totally. It's a different time.
Yeah, I left one of my favorites out. We'll start with Trevor Bennett.
Where's Trevor from?
He's in Western Sydney, and he's a crazy good biomech artist and tattooer as well, along with Brad Bacco. But
no,
Trevor,
is that 2 or is that 1?
No, sorry, Brad. You were just a mention.
Okay. We're serious here.
But sadly, Trevor passed from cancer only like a few weeks ago. And he's a real good buddy of mine too. He used to come to all my metal gig shows when I was a young kid, just learning to tattoo, and he'd invite me over to his private studio, and I'd just watch him draw and tattoo and stuff.
Does he have an Instagram still up? Like, is there somewhere we can see his work? Yeah,
you can definitely still see his work. Literally, Trevor Bennett. I think it's 2 N's, 2 T's, Bennett. And he was the kind of guy that would just maybe take a little microdose of mushrooms and crack a beer and just draw everything freehand from his brain. He would tattoo that way as well. I never saw him put a stencil on the whole time I watched him tattoo. I'm sure he might have at some point, but I just never even saw it. Like he would sometimes wouldn't even draw with the texter. He'd just be like straight on, one of those kind of guys.
Holy fuck.
Just phenomenal detail, phenomenal creative mind. Anyway, so we'll start with Trev. Rest in peace, Trev. Love you. It's pretty sad to hear that he passed not long ago. Whilst I was here, it was only a few weeks ago.
Yeah, that is terrible.
So we'll put him at number 1 now. And then we got the other 4. Now I've forgotten the other 4. Shit.
You're so prepared.
Oh,
yeah, I was so prepared. Who did I say last time? We'll just stick with who I said last time.
Yeah,
last time
we can remember. I think you said Josh.
Last time I said Sam Clark last time.
Yeah.
He's in Noosa, Queensland. He's a neo-traditional tattooer. Yeah, again, when I was a young tattooer, he was someone I always looked up to for the way he drew, what he drew, his palette, blah, blah, blah. And who else is there? The rest were not Australians from memory. I think I said Fibs.
Yeah.
I love his blackwork flow. Got a bit of Japanese to it as well. Love that shit.
I love an artist that can take stuff from such different inspirations and make them into something like that.
Yeah.
Make it their own.
I guess
so cool.
I guess he's predominantly that ornamental blackwork kind of style, but some of it's so Japanese at the same time, with his florals and water and stuff.
Yeah.
I didn't know that you could
phenomenal.
So many different ways.
Yeah, most people get the hang of it in 1 or 2 ways and they don't really waver, but he's changed all the time.
It's so cool.
Yeah. Really cool. I've always been a big Steve Moore fan. I guess lots of people probably tell you that being in Canada, but
I've heard of him.
Yeah.
Never heard of him.
Yeah. What's his Instagram?
Get more tattoos. Report get more tattoo. Yeah. So yeah.
Report get more tattoo. Is there a fake one out? Is there?
Yeah, there is. No S.
Somebody's actually trying to take money from people pretending to be him.
Yeah.
So they're trying to get Instagram to take down the fake one. So his is get more tattoos with an S, and the one without the S is not him. Do not give it. Don't send any money.
No.
And you should know because it's only got like 100 followers.
Yeah. It's missing a K at the end. 100.
Yeah.
Oh, and I can tell you why I put Steve Moore in there too. Is I knew of his work a little bit, but then on one of my trips, I was dating a girl here in Canada, and she was getting half a bodysuit by him, and so I got to see a few sessions come back fresh and heal and things like that, and I could see it close up, and I could see his skin, the saturation of his color pigment, and that alone, I'd put him above a lot of tattooers anywhere, just purely on how not just how well he saturated, but even sometimes where he didn't saturate it fully, he let the pigments sink and spread. And a month later, once I'd seen that tattoo healed, like some full mag sections of one big blend where like I could see each mag hit. It wasn't full, but it healed so easily and effortlessly. And then in a month, it just went, the pigments just filled the skin, and I was like, fuck. Okay. Wow. That's just an understanding that I'd never really seen so up close before.
Yeah.
So that's cool. Damn him.
Yeah, I think his work is hurt a lot of egos, and as much as it's inspired,
he's got all the textured fucking mags. That's why no one else has got them. He's got all the fucking
totally
0.35 fucking mags.
Yeah, a lot of people probably see Steve's work and they're like, I hope he's an asshole.
Yeah, too bad.
I hope there's something about him that I just won't like, but
no.
Yeah. I bet he's a good dad too.
He is, totally.
Yeah, he really is.
Yeah.
Oh, good on him. We'll get something on him. We'll take him fly fishing. Take him through the. He's probably a good fly fisherman too, is he? He knows how to handle a patch of prickly pears.
I don't think
No.
he's ever gone fly fishing.
No, but he's probably working with you.
Yeah.
He used to surf casino a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Oh, that'd
Yeah.
be good. I bet she fucking surfs better than me too.
He's a hell of a snowboarder. Just take
Yeah.
a snowboard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Who's number 5?
Number 5. Who was there? There was.
It's whoever you want it to be. And everybody else you mentioned sucks, just so you know.
Yeah.
Everyone. Oh God! So do I say myself? No. Has anyone ever said themselves?
No.
Fucking do it.
Number 5. I feel like there's got to be a predominant Japanese tattooer. Surely. Who else did I say? I was so well prepared. Clearly.
Bibbs, Steve Moore, Sam Clark,
Trev
Bennett,
and Gogoi, Jeffy Boy.
You sound like you're friends.
People that I have up on a I think that's an Australian slang thing. People that I have up on a pedestal in some way, I like to give them real casual bro names. So it does sound like we're just like mates, but we're not.
That's like the ultimate name drop right there. Jeffy Boy.
Yeah. I do that with Chris Hemsworth too. Because he lives around the corner in Byron, but no, he doesn't know me. I don't know him, but I call him Chrissy Hems or just Chrissy. And
oh fuck,
he'd probably hate it.
Next time I talk to him, I'll let him know.
Yeah.
You.
Oh fuck.
Awesome. Well, I'm really glad that you and your friend's house and everything like that are safe.
Yeah.
So far.
Thank you. Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for taking time out from what I'm sure is a stressful time right now to talk to us two goofs.
Yeah, it's actually worked out great. I was pretty stressed out too. My day was a little disorganized. As you know, I got the time wrong yesterday. I was sitting here at 6 p.m. yesterday going, where are they?
It's not just me.
On Instagram, I only saw it because I just happened to open the app.
Yeah. No, but it worked out good. It's pulled me right out of my head and into a moment, which is fucking always great. So thanks for having us.
Oh, no worries. Cool, buddy. It was great catching up.
Thank you so much to Good Guy Supply. Go give them a follow on IG.
Thanks, Good Guy.
Order your kit.
Yep, they make this content possible.
And start a poll. We want some textured mags.
Yes, textured mags. And 18 rounds.
Not front end.
Yes. All right, boys.
Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Thanks, team. Safe travels.
It was great getting to know Curly and this amazing guy that tattooed with one arm. You know, the customer had to stretch his own skin.
So I did get blood poisoning from him twice. Yeah, twice.
Ed Hardy brought this whole Japanese influence into American tattooing.
Once Dave Shore come onto the scene, it was like tattooing completely changed.
If anybody could say anything about greaseball Japanese, it's fucking Dave Shore.
Salty, piratey, bikery, just hard not to do.
Man, he'd pull in on his chopper with the tattoos and the girls, and I mean, he was just like so cool, man.
He captured vulgarity and pleasure and insanity and recklessness.
Tattooer in the 80s or 70s. Just not the same, you had to be a tough guy.
I was scared shitless. Even though I was kind of a biker guy, these were bigger biker guys,
I'm not totally sure you could paint the picture accurately to somebody now getting into tattooing about what it was like then. And the only reason I would say, or I feel that way, though, is because they might not believe you.
We had the limo waiting for him with all the lines of blow lined at the airport. This is the way we do it in Canada.
In like 80s, 90s, Paul Jeffries was like the king of tattooing. It wasn't just in Canada.
Like, am I supposed to stop tattooing? Because if this is what I'm supposed to aspire to, it's not gonna happen.
Each one of these old masters influenced groups of tattooers, who in turn influenced other groups of tattooers.
The True North Strong Tattoo Book. This is a massive tattoo encyclopedia of Canadian tattooers. 350 pages. It's an 11 by 17 coffee table format. Shawn and Dan worked tirelessly to get this thing out, and sadly it never made it to print, so it's available for free download at theholdfastsocialclub.com and championtattoo.ca.